It's stock up and stock down time here at the Heat Report by Chat Sports, and we're going to be specifically looking at third-year forward Jaime Jaquez Jr. and the newest member of the Miami Heat, Norman Powell. Are these players on the turn in their careers, respectively? One potentially going down, one going up. Well, Bleacher Report put an article out there about one rising player and one falling player ahead of this NBA season for each team. And the rising player they had for Miami was the 18th overall pick in 2023, Jaime Jaquez Jr. And the faller, the player Pat Riley traded for in that three-team deal with the Clippers and Jazz, Norman Powell. We're going to break it all down on today's show. I am Nic Rohloff, but we are almost approaching. Well, we aren't almost approaching. We are approaching the end of August, and it's time to make our final push in the Chat Sports August-like battle. We are trailing by just under 200 likes to Knicks now, but we do hold a lead over Celtics today and 76ers now. Hit that thumbs up icon if you love the Miami Heat and want to put us at the top of the Chat Sports leaderboard. We're going to first talk about the third-year forward, Jaime Jaquez Jr., who had an extremely down second season after what looked like a promising start to his career when he landed on the All-NBA rookie team in his first season. Well, let's see what Bleacher Report had to say on Triple J first. They said progress isn't always linear, but it was still jarring to see Jaquez fall off quite as steeply as he did in his second season. After finishing fourth in the Rookie of the Year and ninth in sixth-man voting, the rugged forward lost minutes, shots, and efficiency as a sophomore. This is not Jaquez, just 24, being on some irreversible downward slide. He still plays with force, still generally makes good decisions with the ball, and does enough of the little things to deserve a shot at redemption. If he can get the ball to go in a little bit more consistently, he'll retake his spot in the rotation and perhaps even warrant more than 17 starts he got in 24-25. And the truth is, we talked about it all last season. Jaime Jaquez Jr., after a great rookie season where he came off the bench, started some games as a complementary piece to Jimmy Butler, but also borderline a Jimmy replacement in some regular season action when he missed time due to their similar play styles in the mid-range and finishing at the rim. The truth is, the NBA just adjusted to him. What made Jaime so special his rookie season is his ability to get downhill, finish at the rim. He often used the Pascal Siakam spin move to get back to the right hand, and he would oftentimes try to do a half spin where he fakes a spin, comes back to his right. Well, the truth is, the NBA read up on the scouting report, started playing him to the spin. If he drives left, they basically forced him left. Didn't allow him to get back to the middle of the floor. If he drove right, they played him that way and said, you're not getting back to the middle of the floor, you got to drive right. And Jaime simply couldn't adjust to that. But also, he couldn't hit a shot from beyond the arc at a consistent rate, and nobody respected him from beyond the arc, which took away the ability for him to be efficient on dribble drives to the rim. That's what was the issue last year. But when I'm thinking of Jaime Jaquez Jr. this upcoming season, do I think he could be better than last year? I think he absolutely can be. But I don't envision him having some big bounce back year where he rises back to a crazy high asset for Miami as a younger player. No, I don't see an increase in production for Jaime Jaquez Jr. this season. And there's a lot of reasons for that, specifically being his role on this Heat roster. But I did want to take a look at the differences from his first season to his second season. You see there, man, it is not very good for him. The drop in three-point efficiency, the drop in standard efficiency. The only thing that he improved on is rebounding per game, but the points went down, the minutes per game went down. It was just the most disheartening thing that I think the entire Heat season had. I'll be honest. You could say, yeah, the Jimmy Butler trade was disheartening and disappointing, but if I told people before the year that Jaime was going to have a season like this, Heat fans would have probably called me crazy and been very upset. But going back to my point about how I don't envision him taking that big of a step forward and being a riser is, where does his production come from? To me, he is buried on this depth chart. He is behind Andrew Wiggins on the wing. He is behind Nikola Jovic on the wing. And then it is a toss-up, in my opinion, between him and Pallel Larson in terms of being the 8th or 9th man. Like, I just don't envision Jaime getting from where he was last year to in that top 2 players off the bench. Jovic is going to get more PT. Davion Mitchell is going to get more PT. Bam obviously is going to get more. So is Andrew Wiggins. There's a world where Larson gets more minutes. So when Bleacher Report says there's a chance that Jaime starts more than 17 games, I think there's no world where he starts even close to 17 games. I don't think he starts more than 10 games this year because it's going to be Wiggins as the starter. And if they don't start Wiggins, it might be Nikola Jovic if Wiggins is out. So, I don't know where Jaime's come into this role that Bleacher Report projects for him to take a massive step up. But make the call for me. Let me know. Will Triple J be better in 25-26? Pin comment on today's show. Type Y for yes or type N for no. Get down in the comments and let me know your thoughts. I just don't see it, man. I don't. And when I'm thinking about Jaime, it's all about the three-point shot. That is where this has to go for him. Because if he can't improve that, then there's no chance for him to be an NBA rotational player for long. 32% as a rookie was not ideal, but it was fine because he was hitting everything inside of 12 feet. Well, this past year, his three-point shot decreased to 29%, but his numbers between 12 feet and the basket also decreased. I think that has to do largely with nobody respecting him from beyond the arc. Because if they're going to sag off of him, well, it's going to be more difficult for him to drive by his defenders and be able to create separation in the mid-range to get off clean looks. So if he can't make NBA teams and NBA players respect him from beyond the arc, it's going to be very difficult for him to increase his efficiency elsewhere on the basketball floor, therefore not creating him opportunities to get more productive and even see the floor late in ball games. Coming up in just 1 second, we'll talk about the other player, Norman Powell, potentially falling this year in his first season with the Miami Heat. But before we get to that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we are continuing to bring you daily content on the Miami Heat, whether it's news, rumors, or segments like this. And when the season restarts in 2 months, we'll be here for watch parties. Subscribe to Heat Report family today. Let's talk about Norman Powell now. Could he decline after last season? Let's kick it to Bleacher Report for what they had to say on Norman Powell. Career year at age 34 are rare, but it's even less common for a player to sustain such a late-blooming breakout. Powell put up a personal best 21.8 points on 61.5% true shooting for the Clippers last season, starting a career-high 60 games and even earning some All-Star consideration. He might still be a solid offensive starter for the Heat, but he's not going to duplicate last season's efforts. And I disagreed with Bleacher Report on Jaime being a riser. I disagree with Norman Powell being a faller. Will Powell be as efficient as he was last season? All signs point to no, because a career year at age 31, it is unlikely that you get better from that. But falling off, that seems a bit egregious to me. You look at his last 4 seasons playing for the Clippers and the Portland Trail Blazers. He averaged consistently 14, 15 points a night, shooting 40% from the three and 47% from the field. How am I going to believe that he is going to fall off? He is as consistent as it gets. He plays 60 games every year at bare minimum. He shoots 40% from three, bare minimum, and averages at least about 15 a night. Do I need Norman Powell to average 20? No, I don't actually. Because ideally, Tyler Hero is averaging 25 a night again. Bam Adebayo is close to averaging 20. And then if you just get 15 to 17 points a night from Powell, Andrew Wiggins in that starting lineup, step up from where? Step up from Jovic. Well, then that's where the scoring should come from for the Miami Heat. I just need Norman Powell to be an elite three-point shooter like he's been his entire career and provide some secondary ball handling as well. I just don't comprehend how they could believe Powell will fall off when he's been the most consistent three-point shooter maybe in the last 5 years. He is as good as it gets. There's no dip. There's no drop-off. It's 41% on 5 attempts a night, and you're going to like it from beyond the arc. And boy, will I like it. Going to round out the show here in just 1 second, but how about this, folks? 2025 NBA practice hoodies out. Heat ones, pretty nice, actually. I like the clean black and gray kind of design. $20 off today only if you go to chatsports.com heat practice. Take advantage. Grab yours today before the sale runs out. They also have the warm-up long sleeves as well as some other new gear for this upcoming year. So go check it out, chatsports.com/heat practice. When I'm rounding out the conversation with Norman Powell, the role for Norman this year is going to be enormous. It is. He was brought in here to be an offensive catalyst for the Miami Heat. The Heat were a bottom 5 team in the NBA offensively last season. They've been a bottom half team in the NBA offensively for the last 6-7 years. They are needing an offensive spark plug, and I believe Powell can be that. Like his 3-point spacing, his ability to even take people off the dribble. Like that was the part that impressed me the most when watching Norman Powell film for the Clippers last season. And sure, did he work well off of the gravitational pull from Kawhi and James Harden? Yeah. Do the Heat have that same type of duo in terms of gravitational pull? No. But Hero gets a lot of looks from opposing teams, and so does Bam Adebayo. And if we're going to be honest, we can shift the conversation from Norman Powell to Tyler Hero. I think the biggest beneficiary of Norman Powell being in Miami is going to be Hero, because when you saw down the stretch of last season, when you got into meaningful basketball where wins and losses were super, super critical, teams would just double team, face guard Tyler Hero. That's what the Cavs did in that entire first-round playoff series. Well, you're not going to be able to do that with Norman Powell on the roster, because Powell at any given moment can light you up for 25 or 30 on incredible efficiency. So teams are going to have to pay attention to Norman Powell, which should create a little bit more freedom for Hero in the half court. And with him taking hopefully another step up from last season, he will be even more efficient and score more every night for Miami. I think Tyler Hero is going to like playing alongside Norman Powell. So, final question on today's show. Which is more likely, Heat fans? A Jaime Jaquez Jr. rise or a Norman Powell regression? Type double J for Jaime Jaquez. Type NP for Norman Powell regression. Honestly, it's a tough one to answer. Which one is more likely? I think I'm going to go Jaquez because I don't see Norman Powell regressing. So I think by default, I'm going to give Jaime Jaquez Jr. more likely the chance to rise than Powell to fall off. But if you want more on the Miami Heat, follow me over on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff as I'll break down Heat basketball on the daily even more. There.